Hello and welcome to Camp Legend. Today is day 9, and I know it might be a little bit difficult to see me, but I thought I would go with the glow in the dark theme, kind of like in the book that we read today, Creepy Pair of Underwear, which I just think is hilarious. It's a book about underwear. So, my challenge for you today is going to be to create a game that you can play outside, and bonus points, which gets you high five from Mrs. Wood, is if you can make your game glow in the dark somehow so that you can play it outside at night. So let's jump into our engineering design process and start asking some questions. Based on what I told you, what do you need to know about how could you create a game that you could play outside, or how could you make a game glow in the dark? So start asking some questions right now. All right, let's bring our thinking to a pause here for a minute. I hope you had some good questions. I know I started thinking about things that I hadn't originally thought of before. So that was kind of interesting to me to see just when I started putting those on paper, what came to mind. So now that makes me want to move right into my imagining phase. So take a couple of minutes and start imagining what could you do with those questions that you just asked yourself. All right, let's bring our imagining to a pause here for a minute. I know that I got excited thinking about some of these things that I could possibly create. I'm hoping that I'm able to make a game that could be both used outside, just normal, and then also something that could be used at night so it kind of glows in the dark, kind of like the creepy pair of underwear. We'll see. Sometimes I have to do some redesign along the way and some modification, and I think that's very common. So I hope that you can take some of your imagining and your questions and put together a plan for what you could do. So start planning, drawing out whatever you can to get your head wrapped around what you need to make this idea happen. All right, let's bring our planning to a pause here for a moment. I am so excited about some of these ideas that I came up with. And I think actually, as I started going forward with my planning, I think I'm just going to make mine for glow in the dark. Kind of changed my mind already from my imagining phase to my planning phase. So don't be surprised if that happens too, even among any of these phases in the engineering design process. So now we're going to move into creating. So you feel free to pause the video, go ahead, create, make whatever your game or activity is going to be for outside, and then when you're done, come back and we'll catch up with each other. All right. I know it's later at night, but I quick wanted to jump back on here and share a little bit about my experience, and that it was so fun to do something like that. I haven't necessarily thought of doing something like that before, but just the creepy pair of underwear kind of inspired me to do something like that. And most of all, though, it was fun just spending time with my family, and they enjoyed the game. We played, we sat around, we talked. So it was just great to be able to have that time with my kids and do that. We definitely came across some testing along the way, and made some modifications as usual, readjusting, reattaching, things like that. But every time we tested it, we improved what we created. And it was great because I was just sharing my whole process with them along the way, as far as how to go through this thinking process, how to kind of take what we tried and not have our feelings hurt by it, but take it as constructive feedback to move forward and make it better. And I think that's the big part of that testing phase, is really learning to accept that feedback, because sometimes it's hard to accept that when you're really close to what you created. So I hope you had fun. I can't wait to see your designs, and we'll check in with you again tomorrow. Have a great night.